Hello and welcome to Exeter City, where the games have continued, points have been gathered, and the nonsense has still continued to occur. Yep, the game found another way to ruin my life. I'll get you caught up. We've played 5 games since we last met, 2 of those in the cup, 1 good, 1 bad. We followed the Leeds victory up with a 3-0 victory away at Middlesbrough. We've finally beaten them, after losing to them 3 times in the Championship stage, once in the cup then, in fact, as well. But yeah, 3 goals in 7 minutes in the second half. Sorted that one out. Along with 3 goals against Arsenal. Yep, we beat Arsenal 3-1 at home. Good victory too. And then Brian turned up and ruined the party again. Eagle Eye viewers will already notice a major problem in my team sheet. You don't get to see all of it behind my camera, but the crucial name at the top. We'll get to that momentarily. But it's a game that we dominated. Effectively twice the XG. Almost. We managed to lose it 2-1. All 3 goals happened in the first 15 minutes. Somehow we could not score again in the remaining 75. You may recall earlier in the season, after we picked up 2-0 and 3-0 victories over Burnley and Fulham respectively, that Brian then turned up and ruined our life there. A game that absolutely should not have been 3-0. At best 1-0. Frankly, a slightly undeserved 1-1 would have been the most respectable result there, but 3 goals was ridiculous. It was the 6-point-1 that Fruital then decided to be injured for the next 4 months. Ironically, just returning to be beaten by Brighton again. He wasn't even at full fitness for this. He was the only fit goalkeeper, because Rajkovic also injured, which meant Fruital also had to play against Manchester City, a result which I was surprised only stayed 3-1. We didn't actually play awfully in it, all things considered. We deserved the goal that we did get. They didn't quite deserve the 3 that they got, so, all things considered, a good performance. Not so much against Wolves, 3-0, that was embarrassing. Being out of the cup, probably useful at this stage, particularly when Fulham and Burnley turn up. It also gives them game time to some players that don't necessarily play normally, notably the defence. So that might be part of it. All that means is now we play 17th and 19th today, we're 6 points clear of those relegation spots, as things stand. Nicolas Murillo is on the verge of returning, again, from a non-injury prone player. That's a lot of injuries, I now realise. The thigh muscle obviously was the big one, and he's had an impact from a fall. I should say we are the unluckiest team in the world. Murillo, only 2 days out for that one, bruised ankle from a fall. I haven't highlighted what Gomez's injury actually was. That's the reason why he's not in the team. It is a 3-week injury because he turned sharply in training. And Rajkovic's own injury was 2 weeks because he tried to save a ball. He fractured his finger saving, his job. Which would have me mildly concerned for his bravery, considering the instance in which he was injured is the instance in which he needs to be doing day in, day out as part of his role in the club. You'd think he'd be a little bit more reluctant to save the ball, but no, his bravery's fine. For a goalkeeper, I imagine that's what bravery is factored into. Josh Key's last 5, 6.56. Arroyo's last 5, 6.62. Basically the same rubbish player. Do I give Murillo a run out even though he bruised his ankle? It's not exactly a huge injury to be coming back from. And as natural right back, in he goes. Rajkovic, Martin, McKenna, Arsby, Murillo, Aholu, Perkins, I don't know why I said that like that. Markovic, Mwepu, Johnson and Rahman up front. 17 goals for Rahman. Just to briefly highlight Rahman. 14 of those in the league. Only 4 off his yearly tally that he had at Anderlecht. So the big question of whether or not he could bring those 18 goals a year from the Belgian league to the Premier League. Question answered. Right then, okay, we've got a corner. I was just going to talk about our recent results and how we shouldn't really focus too much on them, because we take the Manchester City game aside. That's a game that we're always expected to lose. The result against Brighton should have been a victory. Wolves, I rotated to a degree that I didn't really care. So, whether or not we won or not, wasn't a great performance, but in the league, the Leeds result, the Arsenal game was a strong game. The Brighton game was a strong performance if it wasn't the 3 points that we should have had. We can take that performance into this game, and, well, Good Johnson's been mugged off there by Tanganga. Fulham sort of becoming a little bit of a club, which just takes other London clubs' strays, with Tanganga at right back, and, that's a great strike from Berge. Wilfried Zaha on their wing. Or they're more, actually, to be honest, but Lewis Cook in their midfield, along with Sander Berge. Should I say relegated clubs' strays? Aaron Martin, Good Johnson, plus Tanganga. Perkins. Tottenham not relegated in this save. They're not quite that bad. I know it has happened elsewhere, which is always amusing. Do I praise at this point, or do I still encourage? Oh, I don't know. And Courage was the wrong shout. Rahman dangerously close to getting on that one. Where is Rodak going with this? To Casale. Not that far then. Burge. Tanganga. Being hunted. Burge. We know from previous observations, and observations that did continue on stream actually, I did check with my Hanover team, that my wingers were my most efficient tacklers. Well, not necessarily my most efficient, but that's clearly outside the box. I don't know why we're even discussing this, but I think it's a foul. But it's definitely outside the box. But yes, my wingers there, which were Angelo and someone else on the other side, probably the new gens, had like less than 10 tackling apiece and over 100 tackles each. So, that was an indirect free kick that probably should have gone in. Sorry, no. It was my fullbacks that had 100 tackles each, but the wingers were the next sort of highest, with the central defenders being amongst the lowest tacklers. Clearly the tackling attribute, utter nonsense. And actually, to further the tackling debate, that's a yellow card. Or not, apparently. To further the tackling debate, I had two left backs over there. Kukurea, who has a competent tackling, 12, 13, 14, something like that, and one who had 7. Both of them had the same tackling success rate. The tackling attribute, utterly pointless. Okay, Murray's had a 6.7 game. That's fine, I guess. Can't really take the strikers off just because they don't really have backups, as I found out against Wolves, because I played Matt J there. I mean, it's not exactly a thrilling game, is it, lads? I've praised before I highlight. That was a mistake. McKenna, we're on the ball, but we know how much we like to give it away. There we go. There it goes. And okay, ball regathered. Arsby to Ars. Still confusing. Rahman going to be pushed out wide. Josh Key has come on. Gives it back to Rahman. Didn't drift offside there. There was a concern. It's odd defending from Fulham there. That's the kind of defending that I saw from my team for the first 3 months of this Premier League campaign, in the sense that there wasn't really any. That was far too easy for Rahman. This is far too easy for Ars, and that's far too easy for Mansley. Who plays him on? Is it the left back who is dealing with Rahman? We will see it with the lines, because I think he is ahead of the defender in the middle. Yes, he is the left back who plays him on. I guess the defender in the middle just thought he was offside and let him have it, which is always a risky thing to do. Sort of thing that we do. Key. Does Key come on here now? What a pass that is! I mean, it would have been great if Rahman kicked it towards the open side of the goal rather than the bit that Rodak was stood directly in the middle of. But still, I wish that was a goal just so I could see the pass from Josh Key again there, because that was sensational. Threaded is the term. And what a take that was by Key there as well. Key playing out of his goddamn mind right now. McKenna. Aholu. I've never seen this from any of my right backs. We see Perkins with a bit of flair there too. Suddenly, we're confident. Good Johnson. Back to Aaron Martin. It's whipped in. Mansley's there again. He's celebrating. He's not running, but he's celebrating. His arms went up, but he didn't run away. So I don't really know which way to take this. I didn't feel like it was offside. I was surprised it got called back for offside. So, good to see it was awarded. And Mansley, another player who's not played fantastically well all season, suddenly turning up again. From a substitute position as well. Going to see with lines. He's sort of in. It's the right back this time that's actually played him on, I think. He's sort of into the defender that he's challenging against. Perkins is dead on his feet. Probably should have considered that before I subbed anyone else off, but never mind. The kind of performance that we needed. 3-0, who needs strikers? Well, the fact of the matter is that's a game that we needed 3 points from, and we got 3 points from. Markovic is injured, 1 to 3 days, that's fine. Johnson's a little jaded and can do with the rest. We don't have any more strikers, quite frankly, mate, so creative best for him, that's fine. Because you look at the remaining fixtures, we've still got United, Chelsea, Spurs and Liverpool in the run-in too. Aston Villa away on the final day is not going to be easy either. Burnley, Brentford at home, now 9th. They've slipped off a little bit, but still a very good team. Bournemouth away, a team slightly ahead of us. I would not be confident enough 3 points from any of the remaining games after Burnley. Burnley is the last game I feel like we should be taking 3 points from. And even then, it's an away game. Which means 32 points. Burnley not played this week yet. We'll see how this weekend resolves before we play them. Wolves in 4th, by the way. Does make the FA Cup loss slightly less weird. Oh, it's Leeds versus Burnley. How did I not identify that before? Burnley come away with the points, which is possibly the worst case scenario there. Leeds winning would have left Burnley on 21 points and 3 teams on 23. Losing after a man sent off as well is hard to take. A draw would have been the best result, actually, because that would have been Leeds on 21, Burnley on 22, and then 2 teams on 23. 9 points clear of now Fulham. 9 games to go. I did look at the previous relegated tallies. The highest so far relegated is 34, which means 3 more points. We're above that, and we would be the unluckiest person to be relegated so far in this save, if we were to be. But low 30s is the trend. It was only 28 last year. 33 was enough for Bournemouth by a margin. Oh, 35, sorry, for Watford. 34 for Brighton, first year. Who were still in the mix, of course, 4 being relegated. They're there as well, 25 points. Leicester, 27. I mean, you feel Leicester should be doing better. We have 10 wins, by the way. We have 10 wins, 2 draws. That's the reason we're not doing better, is the fact that we can't just hold on to draws. We've won a third of our games. Like, winning a third of your games is enough in the Premier League, I would say, to stay up. It normally means there's a proportion of those which are going to be then draws on top of that. But no, we don't have those. We are in Youth Month, by the way, of course, as well, so we should be getting that through surely. I wish I had money to sort of start poaching youth players from other clubs, but I don't. I mean, we do have money, but not for that. We will end the season with a nice hefty wad to sit on and use for next year at least. Projection has us at 36 at the end of the year, and that doesn't factor in the prize money for the Premier League. So, another takeover rumour. It's going to happen right in the middle of the summer window, isn't it? They keep teasing it, but it's not gone through yet. It's going to happen when we've actually got an open window, isn't it? So I can't sign players. Because that's the way this save's going, just to find another way to annoy me. Markovic can speak English now, which can only help. It's been a while since I've been in the middle. I spent so long in Germany, I've forgotten what the English prize money is. It's not as much as I was thinking it was. It's because the bigger chunk comes from the television money, isn't it? I love that it doesn't actually tell me what the middle is. I would love to know. I'd love to know how much I'm fighting for. But it's about 2 million a pop, isn't it? So, basically, invert the 1 to 20, times it by 2, take a little fraction off, and that's basically where you are. 11th should be just shy of 20 million, or probably around 19 million. I see very little reason to change anything about this team, apart from the goalkeeper. Welcome back, Alfred. You've been missed. Gomez in goal. The rest is the same. Johnson and Robin now have a link. I didn't see if it was there last time or not, but there now. I was about to say, are they using Tarkovsky as a right back, but it might be a 3 at the back system. It's a 3 at the back system. Playing in our black and pink kit today. Actually argue it's possibly harder to see than the red kit. Somehow the pink shorts and the claret are clashing in my eyes. But we've garnered a penalty by the looks of things. Probably would benefit from black shorts in this case, I think. And for once, we've gathered a penalty, so don't get these very often. Wepu. Once again, goalkeeper chooses right, and once again, the penalty is just that little bit too good. I don't know what it is with us and penalties. Matt J had a similar problem as Mwepu, in the sense that he was intensely predictable, but still very good. I'll take predictable but good over unpredictable and bad. Atzili to Ignatov in the middle via the way of Dwight McNeil, who's still here, not made his bizarre move to PSG, etc. yet in this save. Although maybe his potential is a little bit lower this year than it used to be. Poor Dwight McNeil. He always ended up at like Real Madrid or Manchester City or PSG or like one of the major clubs. Doesn't seem to have happened. Oh, Weghorst is in. Gomez has done that thing. I have to believe this is like an animation error. I have to believe this is an animation error because it happens. Well, it happens to good goalkeepers. Like, we know Gomez is better than Rajkovic, and this, where they just inexplicably run to the right, left, depending on which side the striker's coming from, but in this case, where they run to their right and leave the entirety of the left-hand side of the goal wide open from their perspective. But Rahman, lovely ball through, Rahman in. Probably should have done better. Good news is, it does mean I can give the team a little encourage. Aaron Martin placed out nicely there on that left-hand side. I do know my left and my right. That's fallen directly back to Aaron Martin. That's a shot, technically. That's silly. I want to see if that clashed as a shot, actually. I want to see the shot bounce afterwards. Dwight McNeil as, well, Dwight McNeil's still going in. Dwight McNeil's still going in. McKenna's cleared. Merkins. I think this started with the Burnley corner, so I think there's something coming from this, and really thought Aaron Martin had hit that too long there, but his own perspective. Pope doing Pope things. Considering Pope's performance in this game, I'm very surprised they're in the relegation zone, because Nick Pope is doing what you expect, and that didn't stay on long enough. Actually called it back from an offside on Aaron Martin from the corner there, despite letting it run for a chance. Ekatir, my left back, Aaron Martin there, in no man's land, playing literally everyone and their uncle on there. Moreau, with a terrible pass. Pope launches it though, and no one has decided to deal with it. I hate Football Manager. This is... I mean, even Veghorst doesn't go for it originally. And then as soon as it actually hits the ground, it's almost like he activates the player's brains. And Weghorst realizes, I'm actually nearest to this. But until it hits the ground, nobody moves. And Ahola is injured. Cool. Baye is my next best halfback, in the sense that he is a centre-back. We're still the better team. We had one really good chance early on, but we're sort of matching them pace for pace and chance for chance from there on onwards. I will thrash the arms, you've been terrible. See, I don't know how much that first one is on Gomez, because it's a trait that I see a lot of goalkeepers do when they're sort of presented with an attacker at an angle, is they close off the near side too much. Like they overcompensate on the near side and leave the far side wide open. So I don't know if that's Gomez's fault. And I wouldn't really call the second one Gomez's fault either, because the defenders don't react either. But it's not exactly sensational for Gomez, is it? And we've seen no highlights this half. And there's a corner for them. Gonna need Fernandez on. Gonna get Baba Mansali on. I've left this way too late. Don't have any more subs because we had to deal with an injured player. They'll come on immediately because they've given themselves an offside. We've got a corner, and Weghorst, naturally, the one to get on the end of that. Wepu. Fernandez puts the ball back in, and Johnson's there. He's run off with arms down. I'm not celebrating. It's trying to give me hope. But I see through your attempts, Football Manager. How off was he? Yeah, notably. I think he looked more on in real time just because there's another extra player. Why are we so far away from Why was there nobody else short on that throw-in? It's in our own area. Oh, God. Oh, we've got the ball back. Fernandez. Johnson should get to this. Plays off nicely to Mansali Rahman if he's fast enough. He's not. All right, we know what happened last time Pope launched it. Playing Brexit ball with a Nordic manager of some description. Fernandez. Still just getting the most out of Weghorst, really, isn't he? Ball. Can this stop changing possession, please? Because I don't know whether to be excited or not. Rahman's in. This time he's in, and he's not taking it around the goal. Why have you kicked it? Was that the highlight? Johnson might be offside there. I think we're okay. It's now backing on to full time, this, and that was terrible. The Rahman's decision-making in that shot there was odd. Really, we're going to have to get 3 points from somewhere now, and I don't know where we're going to get them from. I'm just really confused why Rahman decided to smack it straight at Nick Pope in that last shot. Considering Pope was about 3 yards in front of him. Tap it to the side, mate. As likes the lob keeper, didn't even really try that, and knocks ball past the opponent. You'd think that would include the goalkeeper. I will tell him I'm far from pleased. Some very questionable things happened in that game, just match engine wise. Good news is everyone bar Leicester have played, and they look like they play Aston Villa or Liverpool or Arsenal. So, the bottom lot have played. Sheffield United have gathered a point. Brighton haven't gained any. Fulham have gained 3. So now the gap on 18th is 7 points with 8 games to go. He still thinks Johnson is jaded, and I don't really know what to do there. Hulu out for 2 weeks? That's not great news. It would be nice just to draw a game, frankly, again. I mean, I know it would be memey if the only team we drew against was Everton twice, and then just never drew again. My concern is Man United and Chelsea next 2 games going to tank the morale to the point where the Bournemouth game is going to be like these 2 games that we possibly could get something out of, Bournemouth and Brentford. Maybe even West Ham at home we could nick something from, games that you could maybe get a point or 3 from on our day. Like winning 1 in 7 as that would be if we lose to both Man United and Chelsea. We still haven't had our youth intake. Worth noting, being where we are, A-. Also, a curious thing is, they've noticed that we're struggling with the wage budget. That's largely because I asked the board to sign a player, and the board signed the player. So, the fact that we're over our wages is down to the board, more than me. They haven't said anything about it, and they haven't reduced my percentage or anything like that. So, I think the game may have actually understood the context of the fact the board was the one that pushed us over the wage limit. We'll see. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the Man United and Chelsea games, whether or not Bournemouth and Brentford become relevant, because I think they might do, frankly. I think our season may be decided in these 3 games. So I think I'm definitely going to sack off United and Chelsea, see what the situation is then. If the Bournemouth game can then pass without us being in immediate danger, then I'll play the Bournemouth game as well and bring you back for Brentford and West Ham, which could be the save our season or not save our season pair. It really depends on how these next 3 matches go for us and everyone else. We're making a fight of this, and this is honestly the most realistic season I've ever had. We're still technically overperforming massively because we're 1,000 to 1, but we should right now be challenging Derby for the worst points record in history. This is genuinely the first time I've been promoted and not immediately basically been in the top half or even challenging for Europe. So I'm kind of glad for this fight for once. Because I always feel like I miss out on this stage in a weird way. Although my stress levels probably don't agree. That all said, I'll see you for the next one, where hopefully we can just have one game where nothing stupid happens. Still waiting. Until then, ta-ra.